Hey, my name is Brandon Farmer, and welcome to the Aggressively Podcast. This is our inaugural episode, though that's kind of a lie. We did about two sessions, something like 3 hours total before this, but we just weren't satisfied with the quality,
weren't satisfied with the quality, the topics,
or our level of sobriety, or just there's a lot of hiccups in the first two inaugural episodes. So the third inaugural episode is a charm, and we are going to upload this for sure. So we're going to keep it probably a little more appropriate than we did in the first two.
For sure.
I don't know. I got a little too got a little weird, but it's cool. I'm a weird person, but
same. You got weird, and then I egged on your weird.
Yeah.
So it's
I was going through a weird time at the time too. So anyway, we're in a better space now mentally. We've learned, we've grown, and here we are. So this is the Aggressively Podcast, and it's a podcast about a whole lot of nothing, really. It's
a whole lot of nothing.
Like King of the Hill, just. I know what you're thinking, but we'll save that for another one.
Yeah.
I don't want to get on that kind of rant right now.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end of the ep.
Okay.
So he's Brandon Farmer. I'm Josh Cox. This is Aggressively Podcast, and expect anything.
Yeah, pretty much. It's really this is just a way for us to have fun. We have no expectations out of this. If y'all enjoy watching us, cool.
Yeah.
If not, we're gonna have fun anyway.
Yeah, this will go into the YouTube space. And if it gets 1 view, great. If it gets 1,000 views, even better.
This is our contribution to the zeitgeist. So,
oh man,
here we are.
So, all right, I'm gonna jump us right in. So we were talking just before this about. So we're both dads. I'm
both girl dads.
Yeah, I'm a girl dad of one girl, and Brandon. Well, just go ahead.
I'm a girl dad of 3 girls, including 2 twin girls that just turned 2 this past Halloween. I also have a 13-year-old boy. He's my bonus kid. He's from my wife's. He's my wife's kid, but he's mine. Blood don't matter.
Don't matter.
Four total. Is what I'm working with.
But so my daughter and your oldest daughter are 7 months apart.
Very close in age.
So very, very close in age. So
very good friends.
Very good friends. Friends really since
birth.
Since birth. So we're always comparing really our child's weirdness. So you
get it honest.
Yeah. Our daughter had not a chance in this world.
No.
So my daughter, Rylan, she has been super into Family Matters as of late.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm
that's actually really cool. Go on, but finish. Because Lydia's doing the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Family Matters is a great show. I do love the show.
We grew up with it. It's awesome.
Yeah. It is great. I am now realizing now in my 30s, realizing the 90s sitcom formula of,
But it was such a beautiful formula.
No, I do love it.
Yeah.
But I am kind of realizing it, at this age. So I can watch 1 or 2 episodes and then I have to stop for a while. But she can watch them all. But what I have learned through all this, because I watch my own shows, how much Family Matters is in the lexicon that I did not, you don't realize.
Oh, yeah.
She's watching Family Matters, and of course, the Steve Urkel, didn't I do that? I'm watching Impractical Jokers the other day.
That's my comfort show.
It is 100% my comfort show.
Yeah.
They start quoting Steve Urkel. And then we're watching something else, and they start quoting Steve Urkel.
I know what you mean. Yes,
it's straight up in the.
Sal leans on Sal, like I've heard him even on his podcast talk.
Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty interesting.
No, it is. It's totally ingrained. But no, what's funny is Lydia is all in. I mean, she falls asleep to Full House. That is her
Full
show.
House.
That's her show.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a little less annoying. I don't say annoying. It's just Urkel. He's coming there as that comic relief. He's supposed to be annoying.
Yeah,
he's supposed
that's
to,
his shtick.
That's just that was part of the show.
Yeah.
Full House is just like top to bottom, just this wholesome, endearing experience.
On
which
camera.
is on. Bob Saget is one of the dirtiest comics that's ever lived, which is hilarious to me.
R.I.P. Bob.
R.I.P. Man, he's He's the absolute legend. But she is totally into Full House. Like that is what I queue up for her whenever she's going to sleep every single night.
Yeah.
And that is probably the absolute best show she could fall asleep to.
Yeah, 100%. That's what's crazy is the 90s shows that you and I grew up on. I mean, take the soundtrack alone of these shows, right?
Yeah.
They're talking, I mean, with the Family Matters soundtrack is the intro song is it's just talking about how it's hard to come across good news these days, but you can always rely on. I can't remember the exact lyrics, but you know,
I know what you mean. But it was a jingle. It was it was just that wholesome jingle.
Yeah, exactly.
That is something that's missing from shows of that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like Full House. Like, whatever happened to predictability?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Milkman, the paper boy. I mean, but it's just like everybody knows it, man. It's just like I miss 90s TV. I mean, I know we're both products of the 90s.
Yeah.
So we have a bias. I know our parents should like talk about how great the 80s are, but we lived through the 90s and we remember the 90s. We know how great the 90s are, so that's just kind of our frame of reference. But I do miss that though. Yeah. I miss those shows. I miss that structure. I miss that format. Now it's just I miss waiting. You know, I miss waiting for episodes. I miss cliffhangers.
Yeah, 100. That's something I actually just realized recently. I was binge watching. I don't remember what it was. I binge watched so much stuff, but I was binge watching something recently, and I'm just like, I know what's going on here. Like that's so weird to like. You should have that cliffhanger.
Yeah,
and I mean that obviously that's a result of the Netflixes of the world, but you know.
Yeah, it's just when full seasons drop at a time. I mean, I guess that's the part. I mean, there are still lulls between seasons on Netflix, but the thing about it is, you shouldn't be able to watch 14 episodes in one day.
Yeah, it's one big cliffhanger.
Yeah, then you got to wait 2 years for the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
And by that point, you forgot about it. I knew that The Witcher was mine. Like I love The Witcher. I love the game. I love the story. I love the lore. I love Henry Cavill.
Yep,
everything about it. I watched it so quickly and got so like amped up about it and so like jazzed. By season 2, I'd forgot about it. I'd moved on to another show.
Yeah, that happens all the time. You're all gung ho. Well, I just started watching Irish show Peaky Blinders. I just started watching Peaky Blinders, and it is such a great show. And I got like 7 or 8 episodes in, and I was so gung ho about it. And then I was just like,
I'm real bad about that, man.
Yeah.
I have a really toxic habit of not finishing series because I don't want them to end.
Dude, I've had 2 episodes left of Better Call Saul. I've had 2 episodes of that left for like a year and a half.
It took me 6 years to finish Dexter.
I've been wanting to watch Dexter, but I
highly recommend it. I didn't want it to end, so I just didn't finish it. I wish I didn't finish Game of Thrones. I wish I'd stopped at the last couple episodes and just left it as it is and just like let my mind play it out.
Yeah,
because just the last couple episodes just ruined the entire series.
I never watched it, but
that's another drawback, I guess, of like this modern age popular TV. I mean, I guess looking back through the years, I mean, there's been very few series that have actually wrapped it up in a very clean, well packaged with a nice little bow in it way.
Well, the only shows, in my opinion, that ever really clean up in that way are your super predictable sitcoms.
Well, yeah, I mean, because they follow the format. It's an algorithm, man. It's a formula.
Exactly. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I love those shows. I mean, one of my favorite shows of all time is How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, stupid show, super predictable. You love Ted Mosby, and then you hate Ted Mosby within 2 episodes time, and then you love him again.
But you just enjoy it. I mean, you get that dopamine blast that you're looking for. I mean, it's those kind of shows. That's what they're built for. It's for
exactly.
that gratification. You get that warm fuzzy feeling, and it is succeeding in its mission of delivering that to you.
Yeah, exactly. And those shows always seem to wrap up. So, in my opinion, always seem to wrap up cleanly. because there's never really a huge like, but what about the paper boy or the the milkman or what? It's just.
I guess the earliest one I can remember that wrapped it up in a very clean but very effective way, like MASH. MASH wrapped it up in a very. I mean, they were pulling out of Korea. I mean, it's going to happen. Everybody knew the finale when it happened because Korea ends.
Exactly.
So but the way they wrapped it up was so wholesome and just fulfilling, and it just kind of, like I said, put a bow on it.
Yeah, it's just a quick interruption. It's like that Nate Bargatze show or Nate Bargatze bit where he talks about. You're real dumb when you watch History Channel. I know what you're talking and you don't know the ending.
We dropped an A-bomb? That is devastating.
Whenever you're watching History Channel and you're shocked by every moment.
History's not real.
Anyways.
History belongs to the victors.
Yeah.
No, there's a few series that did it right. I love Sons of Anarchy. I watched it from beginning to end. I think the way they opened it up with the bang, they carried out that intensity very well through the show, and they ended it with the bang.
Yeah,
top to bottom, well done. Breaking Bad, I feel like did the same thing.
Yeah,
Breaking Bad from just the episode 1 to the last episode where that freaking M60 pops out of the trunk and just like mows down all those Nazis. It was. Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
I mean, and Walter just dies. That's it. It's great.
Yeah, it was a very clean wrap
perfect.
Up.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, that was just a big turd in a bucket. I mean, it was a turd in a punch bowl. they rushed that season. They could have spread it out for three full, especially at the pace that Game of Thrones went for the entire time. They could have spread it out for 3 more seasons and done it in a very more effective way, but they were just like, I guess waiting for the spinoff, so I guess they were just kind of pushing for money. I don't know what it was, but
that unfortunately happens too much too.
I don't know. I love Game of Thrones so much. I use that as my frame of reference all the time because I love that show so much, and they disappointed me so much.
Yeah,
and actually, I don't know if you ever saw it. I don't want to bore the audience, especially if you're not Game of Thrones fans, but there was a fan made edit for the last episode that cleaned it up and wrapped it up and reconciled that story arc in such a way that all they had to do was just use that one single cut.
Yeah.
Just to tie it all together. And it was
too easy.
Do you remember? Okay, so you remember the end of Game of Thrones?
Nope. I'm not being facetious. I never watched it, so only thing I know is that the one chick, she's good with dragons.
Yeah.
And the one guy's name is like Hold the Door or something like that.
Yeah, Hodor. Yes. Yeah. He dies midway through. That is, I don't want to spoil too much. I do want you to watch it. But Khaleesi's arc, the dragon, the dragon princess, she has like her whole arc is like, starting out with like the most like the best principles, and she goes like through this whole hero arc and then just like declines into villainy by the end.
Okay.
That but it's beautiful, and I love it because that's a really good storytelling mechanism.
Yeah.
But the way it all wrapped up at the end, it was so stupid. But there was one fan made theory because in the background of all these warring parties in the realm, there's like multiple families at war, all vying for the throne. At the same time, there was like this army of the dead that was encroaching in on the space that was like set to take over the world and destroy everything. The White Walkers, they were okay. You've probably seen them.
Yeah, I heard the name.
And they were led by like this. They were a fully structured army of like zombies, basically. The dead, the undead.
Okay.
Who could possess people? But anyway, there was a fan made edit where at the end of the series, Khaleesi had been possessed by the Night King. And all these actors at the end have been possessed by the Night King, so their actions at the end were all the result of the Night King and the Army of the Undead controlling the outcome. And whenever the Night King had been destroyed prior to the final episode.
Yeah.
But that was the twist.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. That was not knowing the show. That's still
that was the twist that tied it all together. It was like, why are all these different characters being stupid? Being stupid.
Yeah.
But it was because they were under the control of this collective villain. So it was cool.
Interesting.
It is
For the listeners, just if we can.
I'm nerding out for that. I'm sorry.
Well, just for the listeners, this is not a pop culture podcast.
It's not.
We'll just talk about anything, and today we're talking about Game of Thrones. That's fine. It's perfectly acceptable, but that's just.
So, what's your favorite race? What's the best race, do you think?
The 100-meter dash, for sure.
I think Daytona is probably. Talladega is pretty good, pretty close though.
Yeah, for sure.
Where's your stance on Israel Palestine?
They exist.
They're there.
Yeah, they do exist.
Anyway, back to family matters.
Oh man, yeah, man. It does obviously warm my heart to watch my 7-year-old daughter watch shows that I grew up watching. I mean, I was probably her exact age when I was watching that. Maybe a year or two younger. But,
I have distinct memories of watching Family Matters before my papa came and picked me up and took me to church camp at 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
Lydia's age now, yeah.
Yeah.
So it is like, that full circle thing. It is beautiful to see.
Yeah.
And it's like it brings back so many good memories inside of me, and just see that come out in her.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Well, you were talking about another show that off mic.
Are we getting on that?
Well, just very quickly. Well, we got other topics, but
Well, which one are you talking about? 1 second. Talk about what I opened with?
well, the one you were talking about off mic, the 90's cartoon.
Oh, Rugrats. Yeah. I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about King of the Hill for a second. That's a rant that I don't think they're prepared for.
That's the end of the episode today. We'll get into that.
That's a full episode, man.
Well, yeah, it is. We'll get into that later.
All right.
But yeah. Yeah. So you were talking about Lydia loves Rugrats.
Yeah, I mean, which is really cool too. Like I said, we obviously grew up with the Rugrats. I mean,
my first email address, rugrat916 at Yahoo, I think.
Really?
Yahoo or whatever AOL maybe, whatever was hot at the time. But yeah, rugrat916.
Do you want to know what my first email address was? Because we were at the dawn of this era where the email address was supposed to be fun and unique and creative, and I was 11 years old when I had my first email. And my mom hated it. I didn't even know what it was at the time because I was goofy and immature. I didn't even understand the references I was making.
Yeah.
My first email address was save_a_tractor_ride_a_farmer@hotmail.com.
That's
Save a tractor, ride a farmer at.
That's good. I mean, that Big and Rich song.
Yeah, it was big at the time.
What was it around that time? I figured that was a couple years.
Well, that's why I came up with it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh God, I remember that song so much.
Well, yeah, it was like, so yeah, I thought I was being slick, but I didn't even realize it was a innuendo.
Yeah. No, that's a good one too.
No. That's my first email address. I tried to hack into it before. It was something so stupid I can't remember the password now.
The email address that I had for so long, and feel free to spam it because I don't know the password anymore. It was It was one of those email hosting sites that would give you the special,
option of getting
the special @, or domain or whatever. So mine was drumming@mindless.com.
I have that. I still. You were in my inbox and get_farmed@hotmail.com. drumming@mindless.com was in there.
Yeah,
oh my god!
I remember
I remember that.
Oh man, that's funny. Anyways.
Oh my god.
Oh, but yeah, man, I do. That was one of my favorite. I mean, as a kid, that was one of my absolute favorite shows was the Rugrats. So the fact that Lydia's watching that's awesome.
But no, I'm super happy that she's into those old shows. And I gotta give her mom credit. Like, me and her mom are no longer together. I'm remarried. I got kids with a new wife, but we still have maintained a pretty good rapport. But anyway, she maintains those principles. She's encouraging that content on her end, same as I am.
Yeah.
And Lydia is just benefiting just from seeing all this positive content in a world of just like mindless brain rot content.
Yeah.
She's still taking upon herself to watch Family Matter, Full House, and just like all this stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
That actually has structure, and that's my argument, and that's kind of how I approach the twins. And like me and Kristen's like, I don't care what kind of content they consume. It's just got to have a beginning, end in a structure from A to B.
Yeah. So it's not just a mindless
Random images.
4 hour.
Yeah. It makes them crazy, and they have consumed that content, and it makes them crazy.
No, that's with our daughter, we've noticed very, very clearly that if she gets on those shows, like, not to call any channels out specifically, but there's channels. Well, I'll name one of them, like Nastia. It's this girl. It's just this girl that just plays with gifts or with toys that her parents buy her every single day, and it's all
probably what Lydia watches.
We've banned it in our house, but it's literally, it'll just be it's like a nonstop. It could be 4 or 6 hours, and there's no real ending. And we've noticed that if Rylan watches that, her behavior it's
awful.
Is horrible.
Cocomelon does the same thing. Cocomelon. Okay. Now I have a theory about Cocomelon. And I have a theory about actually a lot of stuff too. Masha and the Bear actually has so Masha and the Bear has a structure.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, it has a story. It's fine. I don't mind them watching Masha and the Bear, but they have the same kind of like freak out.
Yeah.
When watching that.
Well, it's a lot of visual stimulus.
It's too much stimulus. Yeah. At least it has structure, and that I respect. It has a message in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cocomelon, it's just all visuals, and there's actually a thing I read about before. Like it's the way they do the animation. And it's the way that it's styled and the way that it's executed that it intentionally messes with the brains of the kids.
Oh, wow.
And that's why it's become the most popular channel on YouTube. And it's like the biggest, content creator in the world. It eclipses everything because they figured out that weird psychological formula to make your kids addicted like crack to their content.
Yeah, no, that's
it's banned in my house.
that's 100% accurate. It's speaking, you were talking about a message. So one reason that I absolutely loved, the fact that Rylan's watching Family Matters, she actually pointed this out. Now, mind you, she's 6. She turned 7 this weekend. Her birthday's
Happy
on
birthday.
Saturday.
I forgot. I'm sorry.
No. But anyways, so she's 6 years old, and she pointed this out. She's way smarter than I was at her age, by the way. But she was watching it, and she goes, I know what they do on Family Matters. Every episode, there's always an issue, but at the end, they learn a lesson.
Yes.
And I'm like,
yes.
You're 6 and you're understanding this?
Yes.
It's crazy. So anyways,
that's the formula.
Yeah, it is the formula, of course.
But it's a beautiful formula.
Yeah.
It is an effective formula.
And the fact that she realizes that's what I loved, because I was like, okay, not only are you realizing that there's, problem resolution here, but you're also learning that these people are learning from these resolutions.
Yeah.
So,
and it's passing that lesson to the viewer.
Yeah.
It had a purpose and a structure and a positive effect at the end.
Yeah.
It wasn't crap content.
Yeah. Exactly. Me personally, I'm again, Steve Urkel is purposely annoying. That is his shtick. So I personally, as a 34-year-old, I'm like, okay, I can handle a couple. But the fact that my 6 soon-to-be 7-year-old daughter is, it's phenomenal, and my wife is into it. I mean, it's Vanessa, she's like, no, put it on. I don't care. And I'm like, can we just watch Impractical Jokers? Like, I just want to not think for a while.
I know. That's why it's my comfort show. I fall asleep to Impractical Jokers.
You know what? I've been falling asleep. I've been sleeping on the couch lately, not because of any marital issues. Just our bed is so horrible. We're saving up for a new bed right now.
Well, I snore, so I sleep on the bed voluntarily every couple nights to give Kristen a break.
Dude, I've been sleeping on the couch for 2 months. And again,
it helps my back too.
Yeah, no marital issues. Just I can sleep better on it. But because of that, I turn on the TV. I've been falling asleep to Always Sunny for like the last month.
That's a good one.
It's so good.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's another one I do? Bob's Burgers has been another one.
Bob's Burgers is one I'll go through.
It's just, I don't know. It's like okay. So example, like Bob's Burgers is like that adult animation, but it's just really funny. It's really entertaining, but it's not so overwhelming that it'll keep you. It's too stimulating. You fall asleep to it.
Yeah.
Like I tried to fall asleep to South Park the other night, and I was like,
No.
I was like, this is too much. I can't do it.
No, yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's why I like Sunny. I've watched Sunny so many times at this point. I know what's going on.
And you know about Hard, it's
just
just playing in the background.
Speaking of Bob's Burgers, John H. Benjamin, you know what's on Hulu now?
What?
Home Movies.
No way.
And another. This was more your thing. I liked it, but this was more your thing.
I've watched a lot of Archer.
Check it out.
Check It Out's on there?
Check it out. No, I actually watched 1 or 2 episodes the other day.
I love Check It Out.
It still holds up.
And Archer is an absolute banger of a show too.
Yeah.
I mean, he killed it with Archer. I mean, I don't know how much you've watched Archer. I've watched every season. I watched even like the seasons where he was in a coma and it kind of played out in like these weird coma dream fantasies.
I've watched. Well, I got a concept to go back to, but I've watched like here and there. I haven't watched anything in continuity. It's just been like an episode there, and then a season 3 episode, and then so on and so forth. But
well, continuity is the theme I'm going with. Is that is what I appreciate most about Archer in terms of adult animation and in terms of like the creativity behind that series. When they go with a bit, it stays with them for the duration of the entire series. Like even like a small like hip tattoo, or like a back tattoo they get, it will appear for the duration of the series.
Oh, that's good.
And
that's
like
good.
They never forget a detail, and I appreciate that so much as a viewer and as a fan of the show. It's like there are callbacks to season 1 all the time, or like season 2, or just like these small little references they make,
things that make.
But
no
like you
sense
remember as a fan, like oh my god, yeah, it's like this happened. But now like here in season 6 or 7, like they're calling back to this tiny detail. That level of attention to detail is like missing in so much. And that's why I love Archer.
So I want to make. We'll move on from this topic, but I do want to make one more observation to a point you made earlier. So we were talking about 90 shows, and you had said you were talking about their arc. I don't remember your
Ark of the Covenant.
I don't remember your exact comment. Oh no, you were talking about how it's not good to binge shows anymore.
Yeah.
And I completely agree. But one thing that I miss about shows popping up weekly and just watching live TV is having that discontinuity where I love Seinfeld. Yeah. Right. Seinfeld does, it is a show about nothing, right? Yeah. That's their whole shtick. But there is an overarching thing. They have that whole thing where
there are like stories that are prolonged.
Stories that progress. They'll reference stuff in season 6 that happened in season 1. But one thing as a viewer in 2024, where you watch it on Netflix and you're going to watch season 2, episode 2, and then season 2, episode 3, the thing that I miss from being a kid or from watching live TV is that you have no idea of the storyline because you're watching season 1, episode 4. And then the next time you watch it, you're watching season 6, episode 3. Yeah. And then the next time you watch it, you're watching season 3, episode 2.
Rerun culture.
Yeah, it's the whole rerun thing where you're like, I don't understand what's going on, but I can watch this and then I can disconnect from it in 30 minutes.
Did you ever expect to get to this point that kids today won't understand rerun culture? That's a weird concept.
My nephews, 16 and, sorry, Sammy, I think 14. Maybe 13 or 14. Sorry, Sammy. Love you, buddy.
early teen.
Yeah.
Coming of age.
Yeah. They did like 4 or 5 years ago. They didn't understand what commercials were.
How?
They were every
most
year,
of their content is nothing but ads now.
Yeah. No, every year, they used to stay with my parents for a few weeks in the summer, and my parents were watching regular TV, and so a commercial would pop up, and they would say,
Where's the skip?
Hey, can you just fast forward through this? And they're like, no, what are you talking about?
That's funny. When Gen X meets the Zoomers, man. I love it. I love it. They're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. It's
when Boomers meet Zoomers, oh my God. It is a clash.
So we're in Kentucky, we're in the Appalachia. We just had these snowstorms come through.
Yeah.
We lost power for almost 4 days.
God, really? Yeah. I didn't know you lost it for 4 days.
Yeah, we were on generator for a while.
Good grief. That's a lot of gas.
We bought for years ago because we like to prepare. We bought We have a landline, and we bought a corded landline phone for these situations. So
no kidding.
We lost power.
We need one.
We plugged in the corded phone, no big deal. Our neighbor, she has a corded phone too, but it was messed up. So my wife went through and she found an old dial telephone that she had from a kid to let our neighbors borrow for a while. And it was, dude, I was playing with it for 30 minutes before we got away. Like, oh my God. I was immediately teleported back to 1993.
Yeah, I remember being 5 years old at my great grandmother's house. Like,
and we were showing our daughter, hey, this is how we used to. And she, I mean, you've seen the videos online. This is not a new comedic concept whatsoever, but it was very fun to witness firsthand
learning this technology.
A child trying to understand.
Yeah. Now, it's funny though, because me and Kristen and my grandparents were actually having this conversation not that long ago. It was like, these kids don't understand what landlines are.
Yeah,
that's a weird concept.
Yeah, I mean, we're fortunate where we're at right now. Our daughter understands landlines, but a lot of other technology she does not understand. Yeah. I mean, or lack thereof technology, I guess.
That being said, not to branch too far off, but like there is something so important about maintaining some of that analog.
For sure. I mean,
me and Kristen are about to go get our ham radio.
I was just about to mention ham radio. Yeah.
There's a guy here in town, Ricky Wasson. You heard me talk about him on the Holler At You podcast, earlier. He can license you in the ham radio operation. He's a expert. He's licensed. He's a educator or a trainer, whatever you call it. He's certified. And he has crazy amounts of equipment. But yeah, we're about to go get our ham radio license. My dad has one. My dad bought one at some kind of estate sale. It's like some old fashioned, like Vietnam era, But we're probably gonna get like a newer one. Though I'd love to get a vintage one. But,
yeah, of course.
But we are gonna learn. Hey, people don't. When comms go down, man, those landlines they get stripped too. I mean, but the radio waves, it's hard. You can't harness a wave.
Yeah. No, that's something I would love to get into. I don't foresee myself doing it, but that is something
it's something we're definitely doing it, man. You got to get one. Hey, I could reach you in Sayersville if you got a ham radio. You got to get one. Hey,
yeah, but you got to get licensed, and that's a whole thing. You gotta go talk to people.
I got to get an aviation license to get a drone whenever I buy one for the paper.
Man, you have to understand. Outside of work, there's like 3 people that I talk to.
Well, yeah,
4.
Now you got another method to talk to me. What if our cell phones go down, man? I'm gonna call them BS.
I know where you live.
But what if so EMP? Well, never mind. That's a bad example. If you don't have like if you don't protect the ham radio. Anyway, if comms go down,
I know how to drive.
You could just get on there and I can just like rant to you about Game of Thrones on the ham radio for X amount of time.
I don't know. It's definitely something I fully respect. I don't find myself ever doing it. I know me. I get super into things, and then 3 weeks later, I'm like, that's dead to me.
Well, same. My problem is I get super into things. I don't get out of them. I just keep stacking it.
Yeah, no,
I get overwhelmed, and I got to take a Klonopin just to mitigate.
I understand that. Okay, so I did want to circle to obviously we wrote a list of things we don't want to talk about. I did want to. This was a very special dad moment for me. This is going to be a dad heavy podcast today, I think. Which whatever. I did get the opportunity to take the family to Disney over Christmas, which, look, I am very fortunate. I have a good job. They take care of me. I do love what I do, but that was a crazy special moment to be able to provide for my family.
Yeah. We should clarify Disney World.
Disney World. Yes.
Orlando.
Yes, Orlando. In fact, my wife and I are joking. I think we have, and this honestly, this pains me to say, and it pains her to say as well, but we've accepted it. I think we've become a Disney family. I will not refer to myself.
What does that mean, though? Elaborate.
we as an entire family have way too much fun there.
That's cool. That's good.
It's great.
But not a bad thing.
So the specific special moment, we were there for almost a week. We were there for almost a week, and we decided to go to Magic Kingdom on Christmas Day, which again was very special to be able to provide for the family.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But we also so Disney has a princess makeover thing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's called Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. Yes, we did that on Christmas Day. She got the full makeover. She became Princess Belle from
Cinderella.
No, from
Princess Belle from Sorry.
from Beauty and the Beast.
I see the stupidity of that.
Princess Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
Princess Belle from Snow White.
Princess Belle, Moana.
Sorry.
No. Anyways,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
it was a very special dad moment. We did that. She did that. She got the dress. She got the hair done. They did her fingernail. It was a full production. It was an 1.5-hour ordeal there. And so we did that, and then this was a surprise to her. She had no idea.
Really cool.
And then the final surprise, which Disney World was a surprise in and of itself.
Yeah.
But the final surprise was after she did the Disney makeover, we went and had dinner in the Cinderella Castle. They have a restaurant in there.
Yeah, that's cool.
She got to see Cinderella and Ariel and a whole bunch of princesses. But anyways, I'm not trying to mention this to, brag or anything like that. I know I am extremely fortunate in my situation. But I have to tell you, this child went from the goofiest child, a spitting image of the weirdness combined of me and my wife, which you have to know us personally, but
yeah,
we're a weird group. She went from that to the most full of herself. As soon as we walked away,
she was a princess.
As soon as dude, I am not kidding. As soon as we walked away, she was going,
"Bow to me."
She had the hand on her chest, walking like this, and then
she was doing the Queen Elizabeth.
She was doing the wave, and I'm like, girl, look, I love you, but I know where you're from.
Check yourself. Don't make daddy check you.
You're daddy's princess, but that's as far as it goes.
No, man. Lydia, so I know I was bragging on her watching Full House and stuff. She watches a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
She has her streamers, and she has her content creators, and she has all the very annoying people that she watches. But she's on a kick though. She wants to go to Disney. And she came to me the other day, or actually just yesterday, I think. Like, I want to go to Disney. And I had to frame it for her. I was like, you don't go to Disney on a whim. I was like, it's not. It's like we gotta prepare 2 years in advance for this. Yeah. I mean, obviously she's 7 years old. She don't have a concept of money or nothing like that. I mean,
of course,
I get it, but at the same time, I was breaking it down for her. I was like, you know how much a Kinder Egg cost? It's gonna like about 7,000 Kinder Eggs to go to Disney. It's just like you gotta frame it like that. I was like, for a hotel, plane ticket or a drive, however you go, it's like either way, it's like you gotta pay for the stay. You gotta pay. I was like, Daddy, we'll take you. And I'm now on a mission to get this nest egg together to be able to do that. But I was like, go ahead and just anticipate like maybe 9 or 10. I was like, we're going to work on this. We're going to map it out. But I was like, it takes a long time to get to Disney.
It does. That's something we've been planning for years to do. And again, on our end, we went during Christmas. So that was a, particularly expensive trip.
Yeah.
Which that's a one and done trip. We definitely want to go back to Disney, but we will never go back during Christmas.
There's a lot of strategy to merit to that. You line it up with a Christmas, which is like an extra special occasion.
Yeah,
you got even more memories there, man.
Yeah.
So no, she's never gonna forget that.
Yeah, I mean children, if you're listening, pause or mute or whatever. We were I don't know. We were wanting to the whole reason there was a lot of strategy in the timing for
Santa's not real.
We wanted to do it while she still believed in Santa.
Oh, okay.
And she's already started showing signs of that's not for
already.
Yeah, she's
pretty sharp. I know.
She's very inquisitive.
She's got a very I get what you're saying. She has a very calculated mind. She's very observant.
Yeah. So
Lydia's very mystical. She wants to believe. She loves the magic. She loves the idea of magic and stuff. Yeah. So,
I mean, I think we got one more year, but I think come 9, come 8, almost 9, she'll. I think that's it for us. So anyway, that was our whole strategy. We wanted to do it then when the magic was even more magical.
Yeah, I get that.
Again, I'm not. I definitely don't want this to come off as bragging because I'm really not. But we're this podcast is about anything, and we're obviously both dads, and that's a big part of our life. And I don't know. For me, that was very, very.
I identified as a dad before I do anything else.
Yeah, it was for me. It was very special to be able to do that.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I was really. You told me about this. We went to this venue to cover a great local artist at Alley on Main, Paintsville.
Shout out,
Alley on Main. Really cool venue. Check it out. But you told me about it then. I thought how awesome it was. I was like, and that actually started turning the wheels in my head. I was like, I need to do this for my kids.
Yeah.
I was like, but we do got to prep for it. And I was like, because we are a very strict budget household.
Yeah.
But I was like, if we can work it in there and start kind of putting some dollars back. Actually, I checked, not to segue, but I checked my Coinbase account. So wait, no way. So I switched from an S21 to an S24 last year, like last February. I never brought over my Coinbase app. And I just kind of been sitting idle for a while. So I decided to log back into it. I've made a lot of money on Coinbase. I made some good investments.
Nice.
I'm not going to say astronomical amount, but it's just like, I was surprised. I was like, what the hell? I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
I was like, I dumped like $400 in here like a couple years ago, but it was like COVID. That was like the COVID stimulus money. I dumped it into crypto, and I was like, apparently I made some good decisions.
Nice.
Nothing to live on, nothing to retire on. But
if you put $400 in and you got 401, good job.
But it's a Disney fund.
Hey.
That's what I was telling. I was telling Chris, I was like, I don't know what I did right here, but so I took a gamble, and apparently it paid off because I hadn't looked at it in a year, and I was like, how did I double what I put in here?
Nice.
Yeah, it was. I pretty much doubled.
Nice.
And I'm not going to share any secrets because there are no secrets. I just dumped into random stuff.
Whatever everybody was talking about at the time.
Yeah, it was like Shib Inu, XLR, Axie Infinity.
You're literally every single. Those are the only ones that I invested in. The ones that you just mentioned.
And then Bitcoin and Ethereum. That was it. I dumped all my dough whenever it didn't go to the moon, and just that's just where it's at. But
Shiba Inu is the one that I dumped into it.
Yeah,
when it was at like a millionth of a penny or whatever.
It's done okay. It's done okay.
I'm not as brave as you though. I like a month later. I'm like, no, I'm out. Let me get. It
was free government money. When I was living. At the time, I was just that stimulus money came in. I wasn't spending on anything. I wasn't living luxuriously. I was like, I'm just gonna put it in. I want to use this app as a savings account.
Yeah. And
it's paid off. It pretty much doubled. But I mean, it was but still, it's like you double $100. I mean, you get $200.
That's 100% return. I mean, S&P 500 returns like 8-ish% over year.
Yeah.
Or year over year. So
I keep hitting this thing. This program will come real, but it's gonna be.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
Editing wise, sorry.
It's just special effects.
Ding 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 ding. It's the Dow Jones bell.
Anyway, that's well. So you had mentioned Alley on Main. So there's a little bit of a segue here. But we went out there to check out an artist for. Well, we met with them. Great guys.
Yeah, Debo Pittman and the Fugitives.
Yeah.
Great bunch, man. He just won Songwriter of the Year here at the Josie Awards in Kentucky. He's a super talented guy. Definitely check out Debo Pittman. He's
no, they put on a great show. I mean, I have never seen anybody do Devil Went Down to Georgia live, but it was so freaking spot on.
I've never seen a more authentic take on the Devil Went Down to Georgia. I've seen people try it, but I've not seen anybody go up there and kill it.
I've never even seen the attempt, which to see the attempt and the perfect execution.
Oh God, it was great.
But anyway, so we went and we were hanging out with them, chatting in preparation for them to go on to the other podcast.
Or Holler at You. Shout out Holler at You podcast, where we examine the art, culture, music, and heritage from in and around the Appalachian region. Anyway. But so we talked to Debo Pittman about being a guest. And he's going to be, if you're listening, if you're tuning into the Holler at You podcast, he's going to be in one of the upcoming episodes here. We're just going to try to line up that schedule. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, for sure. Phenomenal singer-songwriter.
Yeah, he's great.
Artist. But yeah, so that venue, that was a fun venue.
It was a heck of a venue, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, like I think we were describing it with our latest guest, Jalen Shelton. He was just in the studio here, a friend of mine from here in Powell County, and great artist too. We were kind of describing that venue to him. You walk in though, it's like, okay, it's, in my opinion, it is the perfect venue.
Yeah.
So like, you got the food side separated, and the food side is like the country music highway. It's all music themed. It's all just like Kentucky themed. Double down on Kentucky, double down on Tyler Childers, Sturgill Simpson, Loretta Lynn, everybody up that the country music highway.
And a primo Philly, but go on.
It actually has a fantastic Philly. I mean, for some random venue in Kentucky to have to execute the Philly the way they did, it's spot on.
Yeah, it's great.
But it's separate from the bar side. So you go to the bar side. Bar side's super cool. It's like a sports bar setup. It's kind of a dive bar setup even. But it's just like a super friendly, super intimate. You sit down, the staff are friendly, the staff are really engaging with you. And
great.
Awesome. The bar setting's great. Then you go back to the venue side, then like the stage, and it's like a theater setup, man. It's two-story.
It was fantastic. They have a stage. They have a camera setting set up, kind of in between the stories at the top of the lower floor of the second floor, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
Pointed at the stage, and then they have a big screen above the stage.
Yeah.
I mean, a very professional setup, very good.
It was so dope, man.
Very good audio profile of the place.
I've not seen anything comparable to it.
Agreed.
It's it was just like the way it's all just kind of logistically laid out. Food to drink to entertainment. It was just like spot on.
Yeah.
Anybody that's listening to this, please go check out Paintsville, Alley on Main. It is become one of my favorite venues.
Yeah, it was fantastic. 2-story theater seating, tables. You go up to the bar, get your drink, or they'll bring it to your table. They'll bring the food to your table. It's fantastic.
Super friendly staff. I think we I chatted up, the bartender, and there's 2 bartenders there. Super friendly. It was they're really down to earth. Really, they're just good folks. Actually, I think they're the owner, friend of me on Facebook. So I want to probably get up with him and see if we can collaborate on some stuff. It'd be pretty cool. We're
hopefully, fingers crossed, got some stuff in the works under the Midnight
Ride Media umbrella.
Under we have a couple different LLCs, so we're trying to. I get the umbrella mixed up a little bit.
No, you're fine. So
Midnight Ride.
So we got So Tavern Tactics Media Family LLC.
Yeah,
that's the parent. That's the parent.
Yep.
And then we got the Midnight Ride Media. That's the DBA, the child company.
Yeah.
And then the Powell County Patriot is my newspaper. That is the other DBA.
Yeah.
But Midnight Ride is kind of oversees all the multimedia stuff. So Holler at You, Aggressively Average Podcast, and everything that goes up on YouTube is all under the Midnight Ride umbrella.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, that sums it up.
Yeah. So hopefully we've got some stuff in the works with Alley on Main, as it relates to some Midnight Ride efforts.
I'm excited. I mean, that's the goal of Midnight Ride, is kind of showcase all the great stuff regionally. Yeah. So I mean, Alley on Main is certainly a gem in the mountains.
Yeah. No, it's a fantastic venue, and with it being so close, it's. For me, especially with it being so close.
Yeah, for you for sure. It's a little drive for me, but it's certainly worth the drive. I mean, it's a little bit out of the way for some folks, but yeah, definitely make the trip out.
Yeah, if you're in the Paintsville area, especially on a weekend, their shows are not gonna they're not gonna
Man, their
miss
lineups
whatsoever.
are crazy.
Yeah.
The artists that are traveling into Paintsville, Kentucky to play, it is crazy the kind of bills they got over there.
It's just like, I don't know what's going on. You're obviously way more tapped into all this than I am. But it's like, dude, 6-ish months ago, Burt Kreischer played at Prestonsburg Mountain Arts Center.
Yeah.
Prestonsburg, Kentucky. It's got to have a city population of like, what, 15,000 maybe?
People pay attention to Kentucky, man. I don't know. I guess they see the kind of, I don't know what it is, but people are tapping into the culture in Kentucky, and they're really kind of drawing from it and adding to it.
Yeah.
And just that reciprocal kind of relationship. I mean, Kentucky, especially Eastern Kentucky specifically, it's becoming such a beautiful space for culture, art, and everything, man.
Yeah.
And that's
cool to watch.
And that is why I love what I do. And that is why I am doubling down on the not only the Holler at You podcast, but just just that whole Midnight Ride media space that kind of examines all that and just kind of taps into it. And I'm so excited to build that up.
Yep.
And I'm so excited to get that going because there's just so many great people here and so many great things going on. And I'm super blessed to be part of it. Yeah. And well, you obviously too, because you're right here with me. You're my producer, sound guy, everything. Best friend, everything else.
It's definitely a fun experience to. Again, you're way more tapped in on all this than I am, but I'm kind of seeing it vicariously through you.
I want to drag you into it.
You'll get here. You're getting me there. I mean,
you've got to see firsthand some of the talent that's coming out of this.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, I'm not tapped into this, and I mean, even like our guest earlier, Jalen
Shelton.
Jalen Shelton.
Local kid, great kid.
Yeah,
super
I mean, dude can freaking wail.
He can belt. He's inspired by and emulates Tyler Childers.
Yeah,
very well.
Voice was phenomenal. I mean, y'all can't see it, but there's a glass wall here on the other side of the cameras, and I'm acting as producer for as he's doing the interview and tossing over to Jalen for songs and whatnot, and I'm just sitting back, sitting there with my headphones on, making sure the audio quality is good, but also zoning out at times, just going, oh my God, we're catching this kind of talent on this mic and another little tiny mic, and that's it. That's crazy.
But yeah, just take a step back for a second and just kind of recognize the kind of just the raw talent and just just what Kentucky is producing right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
As a state, because obviously Holler at You examines Appalachia.
Yeah,
eventually
but the state as a whole.
But Eastern Kentucky specifically is putting out so much greatness. It is hard to wrap your mind around. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I am blessed to know these people and be friends with these people and just like I have so many numbers in my phone right now that I
never thought
5 years ago I wouldn't think it would be in my phone. And just to be part of that network and that space is just it's surreal to me. Like and that's another thing, man. Sometimes I think I'm starting to get a real bad case of imposter syndrome lately. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just like I've been standing in the presence of so much talent. Like, I've been like we were talking about, just like 1 degree of separation from just like these absolute superstars.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And to be in their entourage, obviously I'm not at that space yet. I mean, God willing, one day I will be with the Chris Stapletons and the Sturgill Simpsons and the Tyler Childerses and but I know I'm not there yet. But to be just adjacent to it, man, it's I don't know how I got here, but I'm not questioning. I don't want to pull at that string.
What's crazy is, again, Kentucky's getting crazy in the art scene. I mean, so your big thing is obviously the Appalachia folk, music
Americana
scene, music scene.
Yeah.
My thing is stand up. Like, that's what I kind of live and breathe.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other space.
Yeah. And this, man, a couple months ago I did a open mic in Louisville, and I shared stage with a guy that was a touring opener for Chad Daniels for a bit, who's my all-time favorite.
Chad Daniels is great.
Or one of my top two. It's him and Dan Cummins are a toss-up every week.
Me.
But I was just sitting there, and this guy was like 10 years my junior.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is what this weird world is like. It's just we're all trying to figure it out, and then one day you're sharing a stage with a guy who is rubbing elbows with your favorite, you know.
But that, I guess, okay, that's a good point. So it's like, I guess the more you kind of broach into these spaces, you know, because I'm in the comedy scene with you, you're heavily more invested than I am. You know, I guess I'm more invested in the Americana music scene. You're more heavily invested in the comedy.
Yeah,
we cross over a lot.
Of course, yeah.
I do like the stand-up comedy sometimes, but I only do it in Lexington, whereas you've done it in Vegas. I mean, you've been everywhere doing comedy.
I take that as a brag, but it's a very false brag. I did an open mic at 11:30.
You were in Nevada doing comedy, man. I was like, I mean, own it. It's cool. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
My cab driver to the comedy club did once drive Pauly Shore, so
no good. All right, there you go. That's 1 degree of separation.
I met a guy once who met a guy once.
Yeah. But no, I guess that's what I'm getting is like the more you get into this space and you kind of meet these people and you meet this, you know, you meet the guy that knows a guy. You know, you get to that point. It's like you realize how human everybody is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's just like, you know, sometimes you meet your heroes and it disappoints you, but sometimes you just meet them and you just realize that, you know, it's a very positive, you know, kind of experience. It's like, because first and foremost, before anything else, anything I'll ever do media, I'm a fan of it.
Yeah,
you know, I'm a fan of all this, everything in this space. But the more and more I get to meet these people I admire, just the more I realize they're just human.
Yeah,
and that's a very good, in my opinion, it's a very good perspective to kind of adopt.
Yeah, it's something that's respectable to get to just say, oh, Mr. Famous Guy, you're just a dude or just a lady that.
But to meet those people and they realize that they're not a god, that's even better.
Yeah.
So some of them it does get to their head. You know, I've been fortunate enough not to meet any of my heroes that have really been complete, you know, a-holes to me. You know.
Yeah.
But I have got to meet several people I highly admire as artists and creators that have really just kind of put in perspective that they are just, you know, regular guys.
Yeah, of course.
And just my equal on
I feel
on a spiritual level.
I feel like that's a lot more. It's more expected to get that in the Americana scene. Like if you were in your exact role but in the pop scene, I think you would be a lot more disappointed with your interactions.
True. That's very true. I don't think I could probably have an interaction with Taylor Swift that I would walk away from in a positive way.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean any of them, but yeah, for sure. I mean,
but even in the space, even in the broader Americana space, when you look like Dwight Yoakam, he's like an amazing actor, and on top of everything else, he's also just an amazing human.
Yeah, he's just a dude.
He's just a dude from Kentucky that's just made it. I mean, so going back to TV again.
Yeah.
He is a frequently recurring character on Wilfred, and I freaking love it. He is my favorite B character on that show.
On Wilfred.
Oh my god, and he kills it in that role.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, and it was okay. And one of my this is just kind of insider baseball. We were trying to come up with a name for the podcast, Aggressively Average Podcast. Before we landed on what it was. And one of my pitches to Josh was the Doyle Hargraves Memorial Podcast.
Yes, I do remember that.
The Sling Blade, Dwight Yoakam, abusive husband character that got his head chopped off by Carl at the end.
That one went, I saw it and I knew it was a reference to something, but it completely went over my head. That's great.
He's the one that he called the coroner for at the end because he chopped his head off with a lawnmower blade.
Yeah, that's great. Oh my god.
The Doyle Hargraves Memorial Podcast. We're almost that.
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
I love Dwight Yoakam, man. He's one of my I don't know. He's one of my heroes, I guess.
That's fantastic. Well, we're coming up on an hour. I want to throw out to the audience something. We've teased it a little bit. I'm going to do it now. So
Josh is transitioning. Let's give him support and all of our love during this process.
Yep. Transitioning from I don't know. I got nothing. I'm not quick on my feet. That's why I'm not a very good comic. So we've teased it a little bit earlier. This is obviously our inaugural podcast, but we'll in our next podcast we will announce some number. I don't know, some metric. I don't know what the metric is, but once we hit that metric,
yeah,
we will have a bonus episode.
Okay.
In which I will simply say Peggy Hill. And then I will mute my mic, and 1 hour later,
It's got to be a bonus episode.
yeah, no, it's a bonus episode.
We've got some content or something.
We've got to hit that metric. We'll announce what that metric is by the next podcast.
I can rant for an hour.
Yeah. So I will just simply start off the podcast by saying Peggy Hill, and then I'll mute myself, and an hour later we will end the podcast.
Members only.
Yeah.
Go to Patreon.
We'll
exist in the future.
Yeah, we'll figure out the metric, and we'll announce the metric on the next one. And I've already got ideas for other future bonus episodes. So I've got ideas.
I'm very opinionated on a very wide scale of things.
Yeah. No, and look, as am I. So I've got bonus episodes ideas for you. We'll work with you to get bonus episodes.
I got some for you too. Buddy.
Yeah. So we'll definitely get there. But let's have some fun. Look, today was a very pop culture and father heavy episode.
I like it.
Next week or next episode, whatever duration we go with, might be a very I don't know.
It'll be something.
I don't know.
Mechanic heavy. The whole structure of this thing was like there's not a point to it. I mean, it's just like it's a show about nothing by a couple dudes. I mean, that is what it is. That is I'm leaning into it, and that's what the show's going to be for the duration of however long it goes.
Yep.
But yeah, this is definitely going on Spotify, right?
Spotify, YouTube.
For sure. Spotify and YouTube.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll figure out what others. I mean,
look for us on Facebook. I'm sure we'll have a profile up, like a page up. That'll kind of we can reference.
And at the very least, again, sitting right here as we're recording, we don't know the details, but at the very least, once we get it figured out, there will be some link to the Midnight Ride Media and Tavern Tactics.
For sure, look for us on Midnight Ride Media on Facebook, Midnight Ride Media on YouTube. And we will link to we're going to have our own channel.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. Yeah.
But anyway, just kind of look for us on Spotify, look for us on YouTube, look for us on Facebook. Midnight Ride Media will be your segue into any of it. So,
yep.
All right.
Yeah. And for, I guess for your handles, Midnight Ride Media.
Yeah, it's Midnight Ride Media. And also just search for Holler At Ya on Spotify. That'll be the other podcast where we examine the art, culture, heritage, and music in and around the region. So that's a pretty fun. We're 3 episodes deep. We got 2 bangers of episodes coming up for episodes 4 and 5. So stay tuned for those.
Yep. And for me, really the only thing you can catch me on, because I hate most everything social media wise.
I'm all over social media. Just follow me.
I just lean on him for that. But you can catch me every now and again on YouTube for recording some of my stand-up sessions or stand-up open mics.
Yeah.
J Cox, haha, JCOX, HAHA.
Yeah.
All one word. Outside of that, see you next time. Thanks, man. Love you, bro.
Ahoy. Love you.